This is major breaking emergency news. We now have 700,000 truckers are now reportedly making their way to the border. Starting Monday morning, they will start their journey to the southern border and will block the border and block traffic going in and out around the border at certain ports. All right, that is what is being reported right now. And 700,000 truckers are now working on this. Truckers from Canada are coming down, and this is going to be a major event. We also have similar protests going on inside of Europe right now. We have farmer protests. They are now blocking the roads and blocking the streets and major highways with their tractors. All right, that's happening in Europe right now due to the regulations that are being put on farmers. And Europe is also dealing with a very similar immigration situation that we are dealing with. All right, they are being overwhelmed and they are dealing with this invasion as well. All right, there's a lot of big news. The Texas governor also responded to the freezing of liquid natural gas exports in the state of Texas. We will get to his response in a little bit. And we also have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people being stationed and being set up at this major camp in South America. Okay, they're building this giant camp to process people, and this is where the UN is funding people and giving them money. If they can get to this major camp in South America, then they give them money, they give them the debit cards, they give them envelopes of cash, all these things to get the rest of the way to the United States. All right, so their plan is also being exposed because they're playing their cards so hard. All right, it's being exposed because they're showing us what they're doing. They can't hide this anymore. The millions and millions of people that are entering our country. All right, and this is a note that was put out. This is an idea that was put out recently, and I agree with this idea, and this is something to think about. If America only has 1.5 million active military service members, all right, they only have 1.5 million service members in the U.S. military, and many of them are serving overseas, and now we have 10 to 20 million military-aged men crossing our border in the past 4 years, right? From countries all over, foreign countries. This is an invasion. This is an invasion, and something big could happen in relation to this. We could see major things popping off inside the U.S. due to the U.S. border being wide open, all right? So let's get into all this news. 700,000 truckers, right? We have farmers in Europe. They are protesting as well. We have these staging camps being set up. We have the Texas governor responding, and we also have Biden responding to this Senate border deal. Okay, Biden just responded to this deal. He is saying that he will, quote, shut down the border, but only when it's overwhelmed. Right? This is a real article. I had to rub my eyes really quick that they are really pushing this as a real article. But this is what it really says, and this is what the plan really is. This is coming out of Reuters. It says Biden backs Senate border deal, vows to, quote, shut down the border when it's overwhelmed. So only when it's overwhelmed, and that's going to mean when more than 5,000 people a day are showing up, which is still 150,000 people a month, which is unsustainable and insane. So then they're going to shut down the border. This is a total scam. This is just authorizing them to let these people in legally now, okay? Because they're not supposed to be letting anyone in. They changed the asylum rules so nobody has to present proof of their asylum for their claim to be processed, okay? So they're just going to legalize 150,000 people a month coming in when we're not supposed to be letting any people in, all right? The law is supposed to be secure the border. The Constitution says to protect us from an invasion right now. That should be happening This isn't even a negotiation. It's like we're negotiating on a price of something, but then I'm just offering to pay more. It's like it doesn't even make sense. This is backwards. This isn't even an actual negotiation. They're just solidifying to allow these people into our country every single month, 150,000 a month. It will now be a law. All right. So this whole deal is a scam. It's a sham. And that's why he's saying they will, quote, shut down the border only when it's overwhelmed, though. Right. So they're not going to shut it down only when it's overwhelmed. This is a joke. This is a joke, right? And the Texas governor has now responded to the freezing of the liquid natural gas from the Biden administration, right? So you can see here, Greg Abbott said, quote, Biden's decision to freeze the liquid natural gas exports threatens Texas and America. He said this is a reckless decision and it is a gut punch to the hardworking men and women in the industry, in the energy industry. All right, that's what the governor of Texas said in response to Biden and their administration shutting down liquid natural gas exports out of the South, out of these ports coming out of the South. All right, major escalations are happening. These are essentially economic sanctions happening from the federal government on the state of Texas. All right, and now we have 700,000 truckers are now moving to the border. All right, 700,000 truckers are now moving to the border. They are starting, a lot of them are starting in Virginia Beach and are moving to Eagle Pass, Texas. They're starting their journey on Monday morning and driving to Eagle Pass, Texas to block the roads and to protest in this area. All right, that's exactly what's happening right now. Massive trucker convoy. This could potentially cause major supply chain issues as well, especially in these southern states where they're going. They're going to California and Arizona as well. They're going to these major border states and are going to protest and block certain roads and certain ports so people cannot come into the country. Right? That is what they are saying. That is what they're presenting this protest as. And this is a big deal. This is a big deal to have 700,000 truckers doing this. All right. And this is actually being promoted and partially organized by a member of Congress. All right. This is being organized by a representative out of Texas. All right. His name is Keith Self. Okay. Keith Self. And he is a member of the House of Representatives and a representative for Texas. All right. He was speaking on Fox News, and I want you to listen to what he said really quick and what they're saying about this trucker convoy.
Just a moment ago. So this is called Take Our Border Back. It kicks off Monday. So you've got multiple starts. You've got trucks leaving from Virginia Beach that are going to go through Texas, Arizona, California. On the website, it describes the event as a peaceful assembly, encouraging all freedom-loving and law-abiding Americans to attend. I saw that you posted on X to raise awareness about that. You obviously just mentioned it a moment ago. I understand that you're going to be speaking once they get to Eagle Pass. I also see that it's going to go through Yuma. It's going to go San Ysidro, California as well. 700,000 vehicles. That's the prediction here. How do you keep that peaceful and on track? That's a lot of trucks.
Well, the people that have organized this are the same people that went to California to D.C. with the truckers. I understand we're going to be joined by Canadian truckers. So these people are committed to a peaceful demonstration that we've had enough. The American people have had enough. We're demanding that the Biden administration do its job, enforce the laws on the books, and secure our border. 8 million people during the Biden administration. That's more than the population of Ohio. This is the time for us to rise up as the American people and demand that our president do his job.
All right, so that's what Congressman Keith Self is saying. He is helping to organize this trucker protest, and he is also promoting it, right? He posted on his Twitter, he said, breaking news, truckers to descend on America next week. He said, I've been informed that there are already thousands of participants planning to attend the, quote, Take Our Border Back convoy next week, and truckers from Canada will also be joining. See you there. All right, so this is a big deal. 700,000 truckers, and this needs to stay peaceful. If you are attending this, make sure you stay peaceful. Make sure you stay vigilant and don't allow any other people to take advantage of the situation and get crazy, right? Because this is peaceful. We want to win by peace, and this is one of the ways to do it, all right? This is one of the effective ways to do it, is through protesting. A very similar situation is going on in France right now. We will get to that in just a second as well, and they are actually giving in to the French farmers, and they're changing their demands now, right? So things are actually changing from this. Maybe we could see a change on the border policy from this as well. And we also could see changes to the supply chain in the short term, right? This could cause major clogs in the supply chain if 700,000 truckers are taken off their routes and are now moving to these certain locations, all right? Yuma, Arizona, Eagle Pass, Texas, and California. Then it could cause blockages of these ports as well. All right, these ports of entry for goods coming in from Mexico, and just having all these truckers off their normal routes could cause shortages and delays in the supply chain in the short term. All right, just something to think about, something to be prepared for. And potentially some of these truckers could end up staying there for who knows how long, right? People were staying there a long time for the Canadian trucker protest, and you can kind of just live out of your truck, right? A lot of them have beds in the back and little cabs in the back for people to live out of, and a lot of people just camped out in their truck there for a month, right? For weeks, however long they got away with it. I don't remember exactly in Canada, but even that, they used the emergency powers on people. They took away their bank accounts, they seized their accounts. This is why you have to be very careful. But a court in Canada just ruled that that was unconstitutional. Unconstitutional, even for Canada's standards. All right, they don't have a constitution, but they ruled it was illegal for their Prime Minister Trudeau to activate these emergency powers during these trucker protests. All right, so there's multiple convoys that are going to be happening. The first one, Convoy 1, is from Virginia Beach, Virginia to Eagle Pass, Texas. That one starts on January 29th to February 3rd. Okay? And then we have another one, Convoy 1 continued. It says Dripping Springs to Cumato, right? So they're going to Cumato, Texas, from Dripping Springs, Texas, down to the border. And then they're going from Dripping Springs to Yuma, Arizona, right? That's a second convoy. And then a third convoy is from San Isidro, California to Yuma, Arizona, right? So they're going to be all along the border, moving along the next few days, this massive trucker convoy. And this is similar to the Canadian trucker convoy. And this is a peaceful assembly, a peaceful protest, all right? They're advertising this as completely peaceful. Nobody's trying to do anything. Nobody's trying to instigate anything. This is just a protest and a show of people that support the border being shut down and the border being secure. Big things are going on. This is a major escalation for our country, right? Big developing news happening every single day on this front. And all it takes is for the federal government to just say, borders closed, don't come here, or we are going to deport you if you come here and you're not supposed to be here, right? And they just need to implement the Remain in Mexico policy, where people stay in Mexico until their claims are processed, and they have to provide proof of their claim as well to get over, right? This is all this would really take, and they just won't do it. They refuse to do it, all right? They refuse to shut it down, and this crisis could be exploited, right? Let's get into this other news here of these protesters in France really quick, and then we will get into this other border news. We have even more border news more responses from the Texas officials there as well to the Biden administration. They're bucking them on their orders even more. All right, we will get to that in just a second. But you can see here 55,000 farmers are taking place in these massive protests in Paris, France right now as well. It says angry French farmers Saturday threatened to converge on Paris in the coming days as traffic barricades were only partially lifted on the country's major roads. This came after a day after the government announced a series of measures for the farmers, and they did not address their demands. All right, so they're bringing in all these lockdowns for farmers, saying it's bad for the environment to farm. All right, they're regulating how many cows they can have, how much fertilizer they can use, all these different things. They are now regulating the farmers and essentially putting a lot of them out of business and buying them out. All right, and now the farmers in France, they are blocking the major highways, and they are also dumping manure outside of the government buildings in Paris. Okay, that's what's happening right now. They are using manure spreaders and spraying manure all over the government buildings in Paris, France right now. Right? So we don't even do that stuff here. They go crazy over there with their protests for stuff like this. They shut it down. They burn stuff. They spew manure everywhere, dump it right outside, block the buildings. All right, they go crazy over there, and people are upset because the farmers are being regulated out of existence. Right, and they keep saying that it's bad for the environment. Farmers are bad for the environment when they literally grow all the food we need, just like the truckers provide all the goods we need and move the supply chain that we need. And they're trying to regulate them out of existence as well with electric vehicles and also with AI driving, which is coming soon as well. They're going to take that away from all the truckers and make it all AI driving. All right, so this is happening. This is global. This is happening in multiple countries in Europe as well. They are doing these same regulations. They are doing these same border tactics, these same migration funding tactics through the UN. They are doing it in Europe as well. And it's a global attack on the West right now. A global attack, authorized attack on the West right now. Right? And it just never stops. It's day in and day out. Just yesterday, okay, in one sector, in the San Diego sector of the U.S., just yesterday, this was just one day, yesterday, 1,001 sector, one little section of the border, 1,170 people, illegal crossings yesterday in one day. And out of that 1,100, 1,200 almost people, 168 people were from China. Okay, I'm not sure how they got here, how they are crossing our borders all the way from China. Okay, and then in Tucson yesterday, 2,200 plus crossings, 39 people from India. All right, just on this, and this is every single day. And they have these camps that are being set up in places like the Darien Gap in Panama, and they're setting up these camps and funding people and giving them debit cards and giving them enough resources and backpacks full of goods to get to the U.S., to go on the whatever 2-week more journey, month-long journey from the Darien Gap to get to the U.S. They give them all the goodies, they give them money, and they hook them up with guides and people that are moving humans, right? Human people that smuggle humans, okay? There's no other way to put this. I'd have no other euphemism for this, okay? That's what's happening right now. And they're getting paid by the UN. I showed the documents a couple videos ago, how they're giving billions of dollars, and it's from our own tax money. Our own tax money is going to the UN, and then the UN is giving it directly to these people that are invading our country right now, right? Right now. And 168 people just from China and 39 from India, just in one day, in one sector alone. This is constant. How did they get here? Why are they not coming from Mexico? They're not coming from Venezuela. They're coming all the way from China. They had to take a plane to get over here, okay? This is an organized takeover of the United States. Organized takeover of the United States. And Texas officials are even pushing back on this right now as well. And so are officials inside of Congress. They are now initiating impeachment articles against the Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. Okay, so this was being reported by Senator Greene, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was reporting that on Tuesday, the Homeland Security Committee will be marking up and voting on articles of impeachment for Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Okay, so they're saying that the situation is getting so out of control. And they've already been trying to push this impeachment, but they moved it to a different committee because they couldn't get any votes. Now it's on the Homeland Security Committee, and they are now voting to impeach him on Tuesday and move it forward to a full vote for Congress. All right, so it might not pass a full vote of Congress, but the way things are looking, things are getting so bad, these deals that are being presented so bad. Now we have 700,000 truckers descending onto the border, right, into Arizona, into Texas, into California. All right, now we have all this stuff happening that maybe this might happen. Maybe this impeachment will happen, right? And that would honestly be a best case scenario. We also have a response from Ken Paxton in Texas, okay? He's the AG in Texas. He said, quote, "Today I denied the Biden administration's unfounded requests and issued counter demands. By February 15th, the DHS must supply the official plat maps and deeds demonstrating the precise parcels to which they claim ownership, an explanation of how Texas is preventing access to those specific parcels, and documentation showing that Eagle Pass or Texas ever granted permission for DHS to erect infrastructure that interferes with border security, and proof of Congress empowering DHS to turn a Texas park into an unofficial illegal port of entry." All right, so he's saying that they are going to deny these requests for the federal government to take over Eagle Pass and Shelby Park unless they can show direct proof of and a precedent that the DHS has had access and permission here in the past and able to build infrastructure empowered by Congress, all right, and funded by Congress, all right, because they've been doing stuff, but none of it has actually been authorized. And this is Texas state property, Shelby Park, right on the border. It's actually Texas state property, and it's actually not federal government property. So there's a gray area here, and Texas, their AG, Ken Paxton, is fighting access for the DHS to Shelby Park still, right? So this is a big ongoing battle that is not going to go away, right? This Senate deal, this deal that they have for the border, it's a joke. It's literally a joke. They're still going to allow 5,000 people a day into the country. It's a complete joke. It's a complete joke. And then they'll shut it down. Once it gets over 5,000, then we'll shut it down. Once there's 5,000, think of this for any other thing that's illegal. Once there's 5,000 of it, then it's illegal, right? Once there's 5,000 thefts, then it's illegal. Once there's 5,000 arsons, then it's illegal. Okay, this is not how anything else works in our judicial system. There's no caps and limits on this, and there's still not even. It's still just come into our country quasi-legal and have access to all the benefits, and we don't even know who you are. And this is why we have 700,000 truckers going to the border right now, because this deal that they're even presenting, it's not even a deal, and it doesn't even make sense. So you're going to legally allow, you're going to make it legal for 5,000 people to illegally enter the country every single day. You're just going to solidify that into law. It doesn't even make sense. This doesn't even make sense. This is not what a serious country would be debating, and it's also tied to all this foreign funding and stuff, okay? This is not what a serious country would be doing if they were taking this issue serious. And this is society altering. This is it. This is the big one. There's almost no turning back from this, right? Even if the gates are shut tomorrow, there's almost no turning back from this still, right? The damage has been done, and it's going to be a long road ahead of us. So please hit it up for me down there to help get this video out. Please hit that subscribe if you want to get notified, and hit that bell as well if you want to get notified directly on your phone when I'm posting a video. It'll send it right to your phone and let you know, right? Hit that down there for me. I really appreciate that. And it helps to get this word out, helps to spread the word of what's going on, because our country is under an invasion right now, right? And this is why you need to be getting prepared. You need to be getting stocked up. Even right now, this could affect the supply chain. I'm just looking at it objectively, right? I support this cause, but objectively, this could affect the supply chain for the everyday person, and especially if this goes on for a long time. And it's insane that we have to have truckers doing this instead of just having our federal government do it and do their job. They should just do their job. That's what should be happening right now. But this is why you need to be insulated. You need to be stocked up on gas, water tanks, food, canned food, rice. You need to be working on your homestead. You need to have bags and bags of chicken food for your chickens. If you have animals, we have chickens outside and we have chicks inside growing them out, right? So we can have even more. We got bags of chicken food stocked up on that. We have our prepper pantry, bags of rice, canned food, all these things. So we are at least insulated if any hiccups or bumps in the supply chain happen. Gas tanks are filled up, car tanks filled up, the red tanks are filled up, portable gas tanks. We're at least slightly insulated if there's any shortages or any hiccups in the supply chain, but you need to be ready. You need to be prepared, and especially going into this week. It's going to start Monday, right? So use tomorrow to top off your tanks, get ready, and be prepared for what comes next, because we could see a response from the federal government from this as well, right? So be very vigilant, be very careful, be very peaceful in this situation. If you are going to this protest, all right, remain peaceful and be vigilant for anyone that is instigating anything like that as well. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.